How's everybody doing? This is episode one of the Coach Terrell Buckley Show. This is going to be a weekly show, even just throughout the offseason and throughout the 2026 college football season, where Mississippi Valley head coach Terrell Buckley is going to talk about a wide variety of topics pertaining about college football from the national landscape and also what is going on in Abina at Mississippi Valley State University. I'm joined by the co-host of this show, Coach Leroy Frederick, who serves as the associate head coach and inside wide receivers coach in Mississippi Valley State. And then obviously we have the star of the show below us, Mississippi Valley State head coach, Coach Terrell Buckley. Coach Buckley, I'm gonna toss it to you and let you introduce the show to all the Valley fans, all the college football fans out here who are tuning in for episode one, and just a little bit how you came about this idea and what you really want this show to be for them throughout the year.
Well, this is all things Valley, and I just happen to, be the head coach of the football team, and I just want fans to know that this is a year-round job and a year-round commitment. Even though this is quote the off season, we are grinding every day. We don't look at it like that. We just play football games in the fall, but we still have to have preparation. Nick Saban's made the process famous. Where we're going through the process as we speak, and I just want everybody to have the information that they need to come out and support us the way they're supposed to. And we won't give them a great product too.
Coach, you just finished up your first year as the head coach at Valley. Just to kind of summarize your thoughts, like what was your biggest takeaway from year one? What were some maybe learning experience that you had being your first year as the head coach over in Itabena?
Man, I haven't even completed a full year yet, and it feels like it's my fifth year. But I would say this: establishing a culture. I thought was the biggest thing. We started out with 105 players and we ended up in the 50s. So that should tell you right there. One of the most important things I felt like was getting the right people on the bus, getting the right people in the building, and establishing that culture, getting us heading in one direction was probably the most important thing. And along that way, we showed significant amount of improvement.
When you look at the season, coach, you guys had a bunch of close losses throughout the year, right? That Southern game was really, really competitive to the end. You look at the Texas Southern game, I think that was a 3-point loss there. Bethune Cookman was a one-score game, and it all kind of culminated in that victory over FAMU at the end of the year. What were some of the biggest, I would say, steps forward you saw this team take from week one against Southern to that final game against Florida A&M?
I would say growth, belief, and understanding what it takes to be a winner. A lot of people talk about winning. They talk about I want to be the best. They talk about excellence, but really nobody know. A lot of people know how to get there. And uh, our goal was to show them this is what it takes on a daily, consistent basis. We have to do these certain things, and if you do that, you get what we got at the end against FAMU, a complete game. Like before that, like you just mentioned before, we had not played a complete game. We were playing spurts. And so we kept grinding, we kept true to our standard. When we say the standard is the standard, we didn't deviate from that. And we got the end result that we wanted. Obviously, very, very excited about the future.
Before I toss it to my guy, Coach Fred, what are some things this offseason? Like where did you think this team needed to improve? And like I guess what were the first steps going into the offseason that you wanted to see also move forward? Not just a performance on the field, but some things off field you wanted to move forward at Mississippi Valley State.
Well, our standard, getting guys that are going to live up to the standard. We created a mission statement about everybody talk, developing young men, getting high character guys, making sure they understand that the value of an education is even more important than lighting up the scoreboard. But if you can get both of them, you can get actually three: value your education, guys in the classroom, community service, understanding the value of helping and giving, the lighting up the scoreboard or winning ball games is a direct result of that. So establishing that mission statement, being committed to those things, what we say our core values are, living up to the standard is what was implemented last year, and you can see the fruits of our labor coming. And we create an acronym, HEAT. We call it HEAT, right? If you coming the Valley Way, you're gonna bring that heat, right? Blazing our own trail. Heat, heart, right? Effort, attitude, toughness. You bring those things, you got something special. And you can use that. We'll change that heat up because you can add a lot of things. I say attitude, I love attitude, but I think the coaches outvoted me. So the A in that stands for accountability, right? I personally tell the coaches, we can't get anything done if your attitude is not good. So why do we don't have attitude in there? And they like, Coach, you can put it in there somewhere else, as you talk to it. So let's rephrase that. Heart, effort, accountability, and toughness is us blazing our own trail, part of the new era at Valley State. This is not the same old Valley. And then we say that because 2025 team is not going to be like the 2026 team. In 2025, we improve. 2026, we're taking another step.
And with that, being in the building, Zach, I can tell you that was a real live talk. That was a real live debate, and he did get outvoted. So
Yes.
he brought it full circle. But coach, coming in the building and talking to you prior to, uh, your enthusiasm never wavered. You were enthusiastic about taking the job from day one. Uh, and we talked a little bit yesterday at the table about how you keep that enthusiasm going. And, for the alumni, for the fans, you know, that is huge because we need that support, right?
Yes.
So from the desk of Coach Buckley, the attitude, the effort, the enthusiasm, how do we need them to bring that coming forward? How would you like for the alumni to get on with that?
Well, one of the great things of growth or improvement in anything you're doing, you got to show up. You got to support. We're going to give you 100%. I tell the players, I don't want 90%. I don't want 110. 100% on a daily basis. And we this saying about habits, right? Let your habits determine your outcome, right? So if we want to win the East, make history, we need energy in the stadium. We need energy supporting the program because you need stuff. Then you need to show up. You need to support it. The players, the coaches feel that energy. Off of that energy, some amazing things happen. So we're going to give you our very best. And we want the alumni, the fans to give us their very best. And I always phrase that into, if you're thinking about excellence, what is excellent? It's doing all them little things on a daily basis. And we're not trying to have a season or a little bit of success. I want to build a program that has uh, maintained or sustained season after season, even when I'm gone, because the structure, uh, the foundation has been laid on what it takes, what it looks like to have great teams year in and year out.
And that's the thing that I'm glad you hit that because now it leads into, the Indiana coach is getting all this love. And, he had the phrase in the beginning. He told them, I'm a winner. I win. Google me. You know what I mean? And I don't know if people really understand who's the head coach at Mississippi Valley State. When you talk about Terrell Buckley and then you transition into Coach Buckley, Coach Buckley's been a winner. everywhere he's gone as a player, as a coach. Coach Buckley's won games, and I don't know if people really know. So I'm gonna lead in, and then you finish up. I don't know how many head coaches or how many actual players can say they've won a state high school championship. I think you did that, right?
Correct.
As a player. I don't know how many coaches or how many ex-players can say that they won a bowl game every year they went to a bowl game in college. I mean, you did that, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Correct. And
Okay.
and yep, don't forget about this. My class, 89, first one to win the national championship. I was gone. The Lord bless me, Lord. But that Charlie Ward, those are my guys. Kevin Knox. So, and I feel like I got a little ring. Yes, I'm gonna take that.
And then you add on now. I don't know how many coaches can say that they were I think first round pick. I mean, I think you were, if I'm not mistaken.
Just the fifth pick in the first round. Who knows?
I don't know how many can say they went to a championship organization out of the box and understood leaving a championship organization at Florida State and then going into one who's historically known as being that kind of program, that kind of franchise. I don't know, just in case people don't know, this is where I'm going to turn it to you, and then you talk about your time at that historic franchise and what you got from that and what you're bringing to Valley with you.
Well, you look at you leave college, you look at all just the stuff. You go to, you talk alluding to the NFL, and I was telling the coaches, the guys that I played under, from opening up with Mike Hogan with the Packers. You got Don Shula with the Dolphins, with Jimmy Johnson, all championship coaches, and then you end up with a Shanahan, whose son now is lighting up, obviously, in San Francisco. And then one of the, if arguably not the greatest coach ever, one of them winning-wise in the NFL, Bill Belichick, right? So there's different ways, a lot of different ways to skin a cat. But the bottom line of all that stuff is I know what it looks like. And it all starts with preparation. And I know Coach Saban uses the process. It's the same thing. What are you gonna do from now to when the season start to make sure whatever skill you work in your skills, you work in your body, and for some reason a lot of people don't do this, but you got to work your mind too, right? So you get all three phases. That's what January to August now, August 28th and August is about. That's the process. That's what we're giving our young men, and they have to have the capacity to do that. So for us, the recruiting, what we're doing now, how we're putting the team together. You know that old saying, there's no I in team, but there's a we. Or I think at a certain point, you have to do your part within the team. You do your part within the team, then you connect it like, okay, I don't have to worry about this linebacker. I don't have to worry about this right tackle. Now all the individual work has come together and you form a team and you get great results at the end. You don't wait till the season start and all of a sudden you try to put it together as a team. So remember, we're going to blaze our own trail and bring that heat. And you understand what heat is, that's what you're going to get. That is the Valley way.
Coach, you were not only a great defensive back, you've recruited a ton of great defensive backs
Yeah.
and developed some great defensive backs as a head coach or just as an assistant coach. Talk a little bit about your scouting philosophy. And because I think we all three can name great players who haven't been great talent evaluators as coaches, right? How
Yes.
have you been able to take it from the field and found that same success as a talent evaluator, as a coach? And how are you applying that now at Mississippi Valley State?
That's one of those things the Lord blessed me with talent, right? And awareness. And you get in the NFL, the average is 3.2 years playing. So you get into year 8, 9, 10 as a player, you know they're trying to replace you. So now you sitting there and you evaluate. I think it starts with yourself. Okay, what makes me good or whatever? My kid put up Hall of Fame numbers. Why could I do that? So you judge yourself. Well, I could do this. And then listen, right? Listen and accept what the coach is telling you. And at the end of the day, the coach, all I heard was dependability. Available, you can't make the club in the tub. Dependable. And in the fourth quarter, game on the line, nothing to do with athletic ability, or you gonna line up right, or you gonna be in the right spot, right? So I took those and now I'm applying it to when I'm recruiting and I'm looking at tape. You listening to what the coach is saying. You get the young man on the phone. You listen to what he's saying. You look at that transcript. What is that transcript saying? And now you look at your philosophy. Are they gonna fit in the valid way? Where do they fit? Do we need somebody to go out here and be a great player and make all the plays, make 1,000 people miss? Or do we need somebody to line up right and compete? Might not make all the plays, but to compete. And do we have to worry about them off the field? Just my saying. If I don't have to worry about you off the field, I think you're gonna give us some bring value to on the field. So when you combine all that, I know that's a lot you're talking about. I didn't say nothing about size, speed, all that points to attitude and FBI, football intelligence. Top 2 things on my list.
And you can't recruit great players without off-field support from the university and organizations. This show's obviously powered by the V Club at Mississippi Valley State, so I wanted to give them a quick shine as well. Can you speak a bit about the V Club, what they do to support the athletics program, and what you guys are trying to build here with the football program?
Man, obviously the V Club is awesome. Every university needs help, right? And here comes the V Club that's allowing us to do certain things like obviously this. And I want to give a shout out and special thanks to the V Club too. But they are all about athletics and trying to make the student athlete college experience great. And you have to applaud that. You have to appreciate that. And I would be remiss as we go through that of mentioning, now you go to the university. Me being sitting here in Inabena on campus is a direct effect of the president. The president understands that I'm a change agent and he wanted change. So Dr. Briggs, I have to give shout outs to him. I always tell him. We looked each other in the eyes and he said, I asked him, you sure you won't change? And he said, yes, I won't change. I'm a change agent. And he's been wonderful and spot on since the day I arrived here.
Before I toss about to Coach Fred, I keep hearing you mention the word change. And what a lot of people don't realize is change can be uncomfortable for some people. And you got to get outside the box and you got to get outside of your comfort zone to change. You don't get change without pressure and getting uncomfortable in certain situations. How do you convey that to the players when you got here? Like, listen, man, but we haven't won here. We're going to win here. Things are going to change and it's going to be uncomfortable and you guys are going to have to sacrifice. How did you convey that your first year getting on campus? And how are you conveying that now to the players who are going to be on this second year team under you and this coaching staff of Coach Fred and everyone else?
Well, thank goodness for social media. You know, my coach at Indiana ain't the first one said, Google me and see. And then with the support staff, the coaches that I'm bringing in, Google them. Now, watch us on a consistent basis. Are we living to the standard? We tell you what the standard is, we define it, we show you, we put the signs up. Are we doing that? So now you're going to probably have some Some guys that start out like, nah, they're not like that. Well, no, this is our standard. Consistency is the key. This is how we're going to act on day 1, day 30. Do you notice anything? Constant communication. Those things that the proof is in the pudding. What I've done, what the coaches have done, we have a little more on our side from last year of improvement, growth. And now we have something to help us with the guys coming in. They can go, hey, you need the phone number to the young man that was here last year? Yeah, I was all over him the entire year, but I was fair. I didn't call him out his name. And he developed and got better. The proof is in the pudding.
Ain't no doubt. And I'm gonna double down on you. I'm a winner too. I win. You know, I develop, and that's very important for me on and off the field. And I think you just kind of hit that. But sitting in the staff meeting and listening to the coaches talk about that during the academic piece of it, uh, I'm gonna swing it to you this way. Just in this short time, talking about recruiting new athletes to come to Valley State. You know what we're facing as far as, I don't want to say, I'm going to go ahead and say it. You know we're facing the heat, right?
The heat, baby.
We're facing that, right? We're facing all kinds I mean, just hate, why you want to go there, all that kind of stuff, right? And the few guys that I've talked to in this short amount of time, I tell them up front, like, this ain't the same people. This is not the same program. This is a different program. We're talking books and ball, right? Books and ball. And that's what we're about. What has been the message for you to the coaching staff, prior to me getting there, when we're faced with that hate, that, yeah, Valley's your choice, but why you want to go there? What are you instilling in the staff, man? How are we getting over that? How are we gonna beat that hump?
Well, it's one of those things we talked about. I know my guy in Minnesota, the head coach of Minnesota, talks about rowing the boat, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're all in the boat, and we're going in the same direction. We have the same mindset because we want to do one thing. We want to make history. We want to change lives. We want to change mindset. And the only way you can do that is you got to get in the belly of the beast. You got to get in there with teeth, saw them teeth down, get them teeth out of there, man. That's the only way you're gonna make history and change lives and change the culture and do all those things. So for you, for the other coaches, it takes courage to do that, right? And I am grateful for that because it is a fight. And we taking that heat, that negative heat, and we done turn it into a positive heat, right? Heart, energy, accountability, and toughness. Not only do the players need to have it and live that way, but the coaches got to have it too.
And I love it. And speaking from someone that's been in the conference for some years, the thought was always that okay, they'll play hard, but then you're going to outlast them. The later you catch them in the year, the less amount of problems you'll have because the numbers are going to fall off, which goes back to you saying you started with 110, ended with 50. How do we fight that attrition going forward, Coach?
New era, new attitude. We have a game plan from now. We understand what the assignment is, right? What's been happening. That ain't gonna happen. And if they do like last year, if they do fall off, that's the getting the right guys on the bus. I don't necessarily say getting the wrong guys off, getting the right guys on the bus. And at the end, we had the right guys on the bus. That means you said fall off. That means our off-season program, our strength and conditioning program has to be on par with the other top teams, right? Our nutritionists, feeding, getting bigger, getting stronger, has to be on the same page. If it's not, then that's what you get at the end of the year. If you're not physically, like I told you, the 3 things, you have to train your body. You can't get bigger. You can't get faster if you're training and you're not putting nothing back into it, right? That's proven. And then on the mind side, the attitude, the toughness part, that's where you pick it up at. And now on the recruiting, jump back to the recruiting side. If you want winners, well, who do you go out and bring in
Winners.
from winning programs? So they might be overlooked. They might not be the size of pretty, they're 4-star, and everybody, oh, he's this, that, and all that. Can he make plays? You look at any NFL team, it's one of the weirdest things. Majority of the time, the third, fourth, fifth rounders on that end up making the team are staying longer than the guys that was drafted in the first, second, third round. And it's one because the guys up, just like the bigger schools here, they do the measurables and they want the pretty guy. Well, how about give me the guy that's productive? I'll take him any day. And you guys, we're going to see that this year from Valley. That's the Valley way. That's all Creed.
Well, you led me right into my next deal, man. One of your teams, the team that drafted you fifth overall, correctly,
Yes.
if I'm correct,
Yes.
into the NFL playoffs. You spent 14 years in the league. I know you still look at it from time to time when you got time. That Green Bay Chicago matchup.
Man.
How you feeling about that? And I know this is a little bit away from where we were, but I want to know.
No, it's ball. It's ball. You don't be a ball coach sometimes. You ball coach all the time. And I watch and study, right? So I would say obviously cheesehead. Once a cheesehead, always won. I would give a slight advantage to Chicago, the Bears, simply because of the defense. They got two tremendous quarterbacks. Caleb has done a great job. His scrambling and off time throws and is unbelievable, right? And what the Bears, the turnaround the Bears have had over the last couple of years, remind me of us, has been spectacular. And that gives us hope.
And when you're talking about that, it's a key piece here, key piece there, but it's that room believing in Ben Johnson, right?
Yes.
If they don't believe in him, it's going to be tough. Have you ever been in a locker room where the locker room didn't believe in the top guy?
Yes, unfortunately I have. And the reason that they don't believe in you is when you're not consistent. And that's one of the notes I have, a video of myself speaking to that, and I have it written down of belief, and you got to be consistent. And the other thing those guys have is a quarterback. And we have a quarterback too.
And I'm gonna pass it to B after this one right here. Uh, it's gonna be extremely cold in Chicago. You are a Mississippi native, but you played a lot of years in Green Bay. How in the heck did you make it?
Mindset, attitude. The first year was rough. Oh my God, I was out there with sweatshirt on. It was cold. I mean, you can't feel your face, your legs. You know you're running, but you can't feel it, right? So finally, the attitude that I had to come with, like, you're gonna be cold. This is Wisconsin, it's freezing up there. Do you want to play well, or do you want to go back to a warm place and watch these guys play on TV? It was just that simple. And I made the mind up. I want to play well, man. I love playing ball, love competing. This is what it's about, right? So my last year there, I was out there. I didn't even wear tights my last year. I had like a little sleeve on. And my mindset was totally different. And went on, went on to get 55 of them things, 50 regular season, 5 in the playoff. Somehow they shortchanging me a pick, but anyways, uh, that's how I cope with that, with the cold weather. Didn't like it, didn't want to do it, but when you set your mind to something, man, you can get it done.
My guy, Coach Fred, is going to need your advice in the cold weather, man. The past two national championship games I took him to, it was cold and he wasn't happy. So we need some of that mindset when he's down there on the sideline with me at those games. He was not happy in Frisco last year because, Coach, I'll give you, it was very cold in Frisco last year. Nashville
Oh,
wasn't that bad this year.
no, I believe it. I mean, it's one of those things you got to have your mind right, Fred. Mind and some
Yeah.
and some listen and some what is that gel we used to use? We used to use something to clog up
Vaseline.
your pores. You got to have the right stuff too. If you're gonna be standing over there, you need to be prepared now.
I learned that later on my way out of Canada. I learned that Vaseline hack, but I
Vaseline,
didn't
that's it. That's right.
I didn't think about
And
that.
and just tell y'all a little bit too. If you can work out before you go out there, I
Really,
started working out a little bit before the game. Get your body changed and gets a little heat, so you don't get not as fast, and it might last the time you're out there. Sterling
really.
Sharp taught me that. We used to go in, Sterling used to go in, get a little bench in, just something real light to get your blood flow going.
I did not know that. I know I saw some passes Zach, but hold on, Zach. I got one more. I'm going through my notes. Last question. I'll throw back to B. A good friend of mine and a childhood friend of yours did an interview a couple weeks ago. Kez McCorvey
Yes.
did an interview with my guy Freddie Stevenson, Polk County guy, Florida boy Freddie. Shout out to Freddie. And Kez gave this one part where he was like, he talked about all the guys y'all grew up with that were really good, that went on to play college ball, went professional. And he said growing up, he could not stand Terrell Buckley because Terrell Buckley was so confident in his ability. He knew in elementary school he was going to go to the NFL. Was that you?
Not the NFL part. When I stepped on the field now, and I wasn't very big now, I competed. I was prepared. I knew, how you kind of know your worth. I knew my skill set. I had more. I could run. I had some quickness. I could jump. I didn't realize this at the time, but I had a high IQ for whatever I was doing. So whatever sport I was playing, I did all the sports. I had kind of a high IQ, you can call awareness. But my whole attitude was wherever I was at, my feet was there. What they say, 10 toes down, 10 toes down. I was gonna give you everything I had. And I wanted to be the very best because I wanted the respect of the people I was playing against. And in football, two people, O-line, D-line. I wanted them to say something good about me. Man, he worked hard. Whatever it was. And you know how hard it is to earn respect the O-line, D-line as a skilled person? It is very hard now because they already think we ain't tough.
I never thought about it like that.
That was my whole mindset. So it was not about the NFL and obviously watching my favorite team in the NFL. I had the Chicago Bears. I used to watch because Walter Payton. And then my favorite team was the Pittsburgh Steelers. Mel Blount, Rocky Bly, uh, Mike Webster, Jack Lambert, Youngblood. I mean, I can name them all. Donnie Shell. Uh, and that was like, man, I just want to play like those guys. And then you go to college, where in on the coast we got Alabama and Auburn. So Bo Jackson, Brent Forwood, and uh, Derek Thomas. Watching Derek Thomas at Alabama. So those are the two schools that I got, and all those guys I just named, they played hard.
Well, Coach, we probably need a full episode for the portal and NIL
Oh
this
yeah,
offseason at some
yeah. We
point.
got
But
we got to get to that next time.
yeah, next time. But for Valley, right? And we'll keep it at Valley, and then we'll save the national talk for just the whole portal and NIL thing. 'Cause I think there's 10,000 players in there
Oh
as of today, which is unbelievable. I never thought that it would get to that point, but that'll be
yeah.
maybe next week or something like that. But for Valley in particular, how are you and the staff approaching the transfer portal this year? And has it changed any since you arrived last year?
No, it hasn't changed. They said more people. The rules, obviously, the window has been the biggest change. But how we're trying to handle is we're trying to reach out to the Valley alums. We need that. We need that Texas Tech guy in the business. Give us the loot. No, if you don't, I mean, you got to have money. You got to have money. And kudos. For me personally, I have no issues with the transfer portal. Things change, right? We said we're the change agent, so we know every year you're gonna lose 20 to 30 players, and you have to redo your team. Everybody knows that. Just like coaches, you get coaches that leave before the playoff, during the playoff, before the season is over. Sometimes they leave because they want to. Sometimes they don't have a choice. That's the nature of the business we're in, right? So instead of complaining about it, I mean, you live with it. It'll be really nice to me if you take the NFL model and set certain dates for everybody. Don't just give the coaches the opportunity. I'm on the coach's side to leave and then shorten up the players. Do everybody the same way.
And then the other thing too, you kind of mentioned that obviously you have to have money. How do you balance that with the players you've reached out to? Like, because we saw, like, let's just keep it in conference, right? We saw Prairie View's head coach Jermaine Jackson came out and he had his portal understanding where he had all the rules and how he responded and things like that. Do you guys have anything like that? And do you approach, because I've interviewed coaches across the FCS. I've talked to head coaches that said if the first thing you mention is money, we're out. I want to get to know your character first, and then we could talk money. We've heard Trey Oliver at North Carolina Central say, "Don't ask me about money if you don't have this many snaps showing up at North Carolina Central." Do you guys operate in that way anyway, or is it just, listen, we're going to sell you on Valley first, and then we can talk all the other stuff?
Well, I think you have to have money first before you can start demanding and talking a certain way, right? So we got to do it the old school way, right? We got to sell us. We got to sell certain things. Uh, and I see the other guys. I see the other coaches talking, but they have something that they got money. They can do those things. We can't talk that way. The only thing, we open up with, hey, we don't have no money. So so come on, Valley. If you want to play ball, you want to compete, you love it. Hey man, this is the spot for you. But no, we're trying to create. I don't want to say we're trying to create some opportunities for that, because if you want to make history, to make history, to win the ball game, to win that, you got to get in the game. Yeah. And that's what this is all about, trying to give the information. We're not in the game, but you expect certain things. People expect certain things, but you're not in the game. So get in the game, and then let's hit these expectations.
Me and Fred have had this conversation. We've talked about it in Mississippi. It's very competitive recruiting wise, even at the high school level, because Valley, Jackson State, Alcorn, y'all aren't just fighting each other and the rest of the SWAC and the rest of the FCS. You guys have JUCOs,
yes,
who are recruiting the same players, and East Mississippi will say, listen, man, don't go to Valley. Come here for 2 years, and then we'll send you to Alabama, Tennessee, or wherever it may be. It's kind of the same way up in Kansas as well, where I know Coach Fred has coached it before. How do you guys battle that? And then there was a big thread or a big talk on social media this week about JUCO and high school coaches giving FCS and HBCU programs different list of players compared to if Alabama comes to town. Mm-hmm. How do you guys combat all of that on the recruiting trail at Mississippi Valley State?
Well, the great thing, I've been on the other side of that, so I understand that it is two different lists, right? The coaches try to determine what level they play, and thank goodness the NFL don't do that. They draft guys from the SWAC. You see how it is, and for us this year, Kudos to the SWAC commissioner. We have an app. So now we got something that the junior colleges don't have. I mean, we was on the SWAC TV majority of the season this year because we couldn't get on ESPN. Right? They didn't put Valley on ESPN or ESPN2 or ESPN Go or HBCU Go. None of that. But guess what? We still got more viewership. We average, I want to say about 900,000 people would check us out every week, if I'm not mistaken. So we have something. And now we can promote that. You're going to get that. So now the teams can see you. If you want to go to the promised land, get a little more money and do all that, hey, this is the way it is. Come on in here. You get something out of it. We get something out of it. And in the end, if you can go get something a little bit better, hey, so be it. We done got out of it what we need to get out of it. That's fine. But you cannot, there's no substitution for development, for respect, for understanding. And when you have coaches that can provide that, because every coach don't do that, it's going to show you love, that's going to communicate. I try to reach out to parents. I made a commitment to try to at least talk to every player over the year, at least 20 minutes. Now, that could be 20 minutes here and all that, but just get to know everybody and just keeping them updated. I don't know how many other coaches can say that, right? And that's what I'm challenging my assistants to do too.
Real quick, Fred, let me jump in with my last thing here. You're an in-state legend at the high school level from Pascagoula, Mississippi. Not far, yeah, not far from where I'm from in Mobile, right down I-10.
Mm-hmm.
How important is in-state recruiting for Mississippi Valley State? Because it was funny. I did a roster analysis of the two national championship teams at the FCS level, right? Where Illinois State and Montana State, those teams, the core nucleus was all from in-state. It was all Illinois kids that they got from high school. It was all Montana kids that they got from high school. And then even from a team like PV and South Carolina State, a ton of those guys were from Texas. A ton of those guys were from South Carolina. How important is it for Valley to tap into the pipeline that is Mississippi high school football?
Oh, it's very important. And what you alluded to earlier, now it's more competition. When I first got here, we wanted this certain quarterback from local area. I mean, he turned us down, and he wanted to go somewhere. So it's not from the lack of trying, and I understand. You like, okay, yeah, you're gonna change this around. This before we got here, look at it. That's where the buy-in that I appreciate from the administration, from the president, is really helping us. And then the product on the field is improving. And now here come the UFL scouts. Here come the NFL scouts. Here come the Canadian scouts. Now you see light at the end of the tunnel. The connections we have. I mean, we got stuff. So I know some people, some friends. We literally got some stuff. NFL help. So again, I just want to convey this to everybody. We're not trying to change. We're not looking to change. It has changed. That's the Valley way. Change agent.
I was going to ask you another question, but I think that's how we end it right there.
I love it. Episode 1 of the Coach Terrell Buckley Show. We'll be bringing off-season episodes leading up where Coach Buckley, we're going to talk about NIL, the transfer portal. We're going to talk just general college football. We're going to stay locked in with what's happening in being over in Mississippi Valley State. And then during the season, Coach Buckley is not going anywhere. We're going to do weekly shows where we're going to be discussing the game from the week before and talking a little bit about the game from the week that will be, and keeping in. This is where tune in. You could tune in on a bunch of platforms. We're going to be streaming this across a ton of platforms, from Coach Buckley's social media to my guy Coach Fred's channel to my channel. We're going to have this everywhere. The V Club is going to help us spread the word as well. Remember, this show is powered by the V Club. And if you want to support Mississippi Valley State athletics, man, make sure to get in with the V Club and get the dollar. Like Coach Buckley says, we need the money, we need the support, and that's how we get better players. And that's how we elevate this program even forward. Coach Buckley, this will be a trend all throughout the year. I'm going to toss it to you. Your final words, Coach.
The standard is the standard. The standard is the standard. That's the Valley way.
Perfect. Guys, that will be a wrap on episode 1. Stay tuned. Stay locked in for our episode 2 coming next week. But for Coach Terrell Buckley, for Coach Leroy Frederick, and for myself, we are out for right now.
Throw them V's up. Throw them V's
Throw
up.
them up.